Happy Thirsty Thursday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of DBC. Dangle Bet Celly here at FTN. Chris Meaney and the Eric Young hanging out with you. You can always reach out to us at Chris Meaney at the Eric Young. Eric and I were just chatting. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late here. Eric and I were just chatting in the green room before we got going about players. And it's like, babe, let's just start the show and we can have this conversation with our family like we always do. We were talking about Kaprizov taking over the game last night and just looking like an absolute animal, and just talking about, no disrespect to Kaprizov because he's phenomenal, but sometimes we were talking about when we watch him play, sometimes he's a little passive. Like, he's always doing good things on the ice. He's always very, very noticeable. But last night, he just, I don't know what it was. I mean, the matchup potentially, but that line of Eriksson, Boldy, and Kaprizov, they were all over the ice last night. And Kaprizov just, I don't know, fire under him. He was not afraid to shoot the puck last night. And we were on the Wild at FTN. We were on that top line to pick up a point at plus 180, I do believe. We needed them all to have 2 points at 16-1. We did need another point, I believe, from Kaprizov. He just tried, man. He had a ton of shots on goal. And we were also on the Panthers, but needed a little bit more from the Jets, some offense from the Jets. But Kaprizov, I know, is one of your favorite players, UI. You rock the jersey from time to time.
Yeah, I love him. Like, I mean, just came into the league like a meteor, right? Like, I mean, was unbelievable. And like the rookie of the year thing, and he's 37 years old or whatever the case is. I know he's not 37, but he's
in mid-20s already came in, right?
Yeah, he was like, I think he was like 23, 24. He's been rookie of the year. And the other guys on the ballot like are 19 and 20 years old. But
that's it. 23.
I'll say, like, my comparison to him just before we jumped on and sharing it, like, I mean, there's times you could be compared to, but I'm talking with pure ability to take over a game. It was like Brian Getzlaf. Like, Getzlaf was, I mean, he's a horse, right? He's a big dude. And he, like Kaprizov, is, often doing the right things and good things are happening. But when Getzlaf would get pissed off or would be totally engaged in the game, he can just take the whole thing over himself. And Kaprizov he does that with both sides and, more importantly, I think, skill. Like, if he gets motivated and really starts going, it's really cool to watch, man. It's really cool to watch. It's just not super consistent.
He became the fourth player in Minnesota Wild history with 4 50-point seasons, joining Mikko Koivu, who has 7, Marian Gaborik, who has 5, and Zach Parise has 4. I saw my buddy Drew Livingstone. I was shout out to Drew. We used to work with him over at F Fantasy. I get the FTN and the FNTSY a little mixed up there, but he said it was kind of embarrassing. I know the franchise hasn't been around for a long, long time. It was Minnesota Wild, and they went to Dallas. But yeah, 50 points, 4 consecutive seasons, the first player in Wild history to do that. So he is getting it done. 50 points is kind of a low milestone, but Kaprizov certainly get it done. And the Wild as well, man. They're hanging around in this thing. I was looking last night with the W. I mean, they've won 7 of their last 10 games. They've won 4 straight. It's now a massive logjam with these teams in the wild card. You got the Kings at 58, who just continue to struggle, and they're on the slate again. What a ass kicking they got handed to them by the Buffalo Sabres on Tuesday.
By Buffalo, who's been rotten all year. I mean, we talked about this. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. Blues at 58, your Preds at 56, the Flames are at 55, the Wild are at 55, and the Kraken are at 54. So we have 6 teams separated by 4 points. It's going to be a heck of a race in the wild card. I think that the 6 teams are already locked in, like the Central, Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg locked in, Vancouver, Vegas, and Edmonton, they're locked in. It's just going to be a battle between 6 squads to get those 2 points. So it's going to be, and the Wild, like I said, they're in this thing after, I don't know, they were a bottom 5, bottom 10 team for a big chunk of the season before they made the coaching change, and we've seen a big boost there. So anyways, we're going to get after it. Of course, we got 12 games on the slate. My goodness, look at this. 12 and 1 tomorrow.
Good work, NHL.
Night, 12 tonight and 1 game tomorrow, but we do want to say what up to the crew as we normally do. Evan's in the house. Looks like he was on some of the same picks here that we were at FTN. Super sharp dude. Evan, let's go. Fist pump to you. He said he hit a sweep yesterday. Last night in the NHL, hit the under in the Jets game. Good call. And I mean, Kakinen was making some big time saves there for the Sharks. Got the Panthers at -130 and the Wild at -115. Let's go. Solid run here tonight. He says he is on the Devils at -118 against those Kings. The Stars at -130. I jumped on that one last night as well. The Dallas Stars against EY's Preds. The Canucks in 60 at -135. That one may be a trap. I'm kind of with you on that, but I'm always hesitant with the team at home after a lengthy road trip, and the Canucks did have one of those East Coast trips where they played some pretty good teams out there. They did well. I think they picked up points in 5 of 6. They got whooped by the Bruins, but they are playing a really good brand of hockey. He also likes Tippett there in the Sens. Some props in the Sens game. Adam Schmansky's in the house. Morning fan. We also have a Shane Pinto season. It's continuing here. 2.5 shots. Favorite prop of the day. I do like that one as well. And you know, Pinto, I don't know if this guy's betting on himself or somebody's betting on him, but he is hitting the over 2.5 shots, and the Sens are.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't do that anymore. Nobody does that.
Okay. My bad. Oh wow, really? Blue Jackets fired Yarmo?
I didn't see that.
That just happened. That just came down. Okay.
Just about 3 years too late. Good work.
Disappointing season overall. I was looking at some of my futures. We may hit a few of them, but I had the Blue Jackets over their point total. It was in the 70s. I just thought that they would be a more improved team. I liked some of the additions that they made. I know Werenski missed a bit of time. Laine hurt again. Jenner missed time. Oh, man, not getting the goaltending, but that happened, eh? I'm not seeing it. Oh, yeah, from the Blue Jackets 41 minutes ago. He's been relieved of his duties as general manager. John Davidson, along with the team's hockey operations management team, will assume general manager duties with the club going through a process of hiring a replacement. Be interesting. Like that move just weeks, days before the NHL trade deadline. Very interesting that they're not trusting him to make any moves. So we'll see what happens. We were on the Boone Jenner shot prop and the Zach Werenski shot prop. Not a great slate today. We crushed Jenner. Well, let's get after that slate. Let's do it. EY, are you frozen or what? Oh, no, you're not frozen. You're good to go.
Oh, no.
Start us off, good sir.
I missed the Yarmo thing. I'm embarrassed. We have our Blue Jackets correspondent, Troy.
And you're prepping for a 12-game NHL slate. So
I was busy this morning. Also, a side note is I'm remodel. Well, I'm not, but I'm in the house where they're remodeling my kitchen. That's why I have paper cups, because I have no access to my kitchen, and it might be one of the worst things that you could ever do to yourself. But it will be done at some point, and then everything will be awesome. Let's go. I'm just going to look at the top of my page, man. Anaheim and Ottawa. Yeah. Mega powers collide here.
You know what? It's probably one of the better games on the slate in terms of props. Man, watching the Habs the other night, they just dummied Anaheim. Like, they absolutely dummied them, and Montreal's a one-line team. Like, that top line checked a lot of boxes for us. We had Caulfield for the shots. We talked about Suzuki, Caulfield, same game parlay. We talked about Slavkovsky with a point in the shot prop. It was a very beneficial game for us, and I just think we should continue to pick on the Ducks here. They lead the league in penalties. Right away in that Habs game, they took a penalty in the first shift. Montreal didn't score, but Caulfield had 3 or 4 shot attempts. They ended up finding some success in the power play. This Ducks team is among the leaders in allowing high danger chances, scoring chances, shot attempts. The Sens are massive home favorites here, -196, and we don't even feel like the Sens are that great of a hockey team, but they do have some firepower up front. And the Ducks check in at +170. So I'll let you take it away, but there's definitely, we talked about Pinto here early on. I think I like the Pinto prop more than the shot prop. I think they're both fine. I'm going to bet them both myself, but he's +100 for a point. He's on that top power play. And what we said on Tuesday, I mean, he's getting an opportunity, right? I mean, he's on the quote unquote third line, but his ice time has bumped up. He missed 41 games. He was suspended. He came back 12 or 13, 14. And then the last couple, he's been playing a lot and he's been shooting a lot. And Brady Tkachuk, my goodness, like this guy had like 12 attempts the other night. So I would be shocked if he didn't have another 7 or 8 shot attempts in this game, especially if the Ducks are going to take 5 or 6 penalties. So go ahead. You got a couple goal scorers on the Ottawa side, and we'll talk probably a couple more cents after.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not smart, and it's the hardest thing to bet on. So that's what I do. And it's, I mean, really, it's for the show. Like if I was just a person that bet, by myself, I would, look more deeply at other things. But, sharing the wealth, plus it's, the crazy man, and he bets on goal scoring. And I think I've been pretty decent at it. On the Ottawa side, like you said, Brady Tkachuk, I love the player. I love the player. And one of the reasons I was on Ottawa so heavily last year was because of him, and thinking about being his age and being a captain and being so respected in the NHL is super cool. But yeah, Tkachuk at 135 and Giroux at 170. Like, even though they've been bad, like Giroux just looks like, well, not revitalized, but he doesn't look his age, right? Like he's buzzing all over the place. He's making things happen. He has the puck often. I mean, obviously has been a good player for a very, very long time. And maybe it's the going home and living closer to where he grew up and having family in the building most nights and stuff like that. But he's looked good as an Ottawa Senator. I like him to score tonight at 170. Anaheim side, you're a bad person if you're not betting on Frank Vatrano to score a goal. I'll say it there. It's a cool story. I mean, he's a shooter, has always been a shooter, playing on a pretty brutal team in Anaheim, but that hasn't stopped him from scoring, all-star game, this, that, and the other. It's really cool to see. He's at plus 210, and I'm going to go with Strome as well. Strome's playing on the first line and on the first power play, and FanDuel's got him at plus 340. So it's that combination of things of he's a decent player. He's playing, he'll be in the top 5 minutes wise, probably top 5-6 minutes wise for Anaheim. I mean, Ottawa, has won a couple games, but their goaltending has been brutal all year. And
right.
Would it surprise me if Edmonton or Anaheim wins this game 5-0? No. Or would it surprise me if it went 5-0 the other way? No. But if I'm betting on someone to score tonight other than Vatrano, it's going to be Strome.
I dig it. I was looking at Mason McTavish because, as bad as the Ducks are, like you just said, it in the Sens defense and their goaltending issues, Mason McTavish returned the other night and they put him back up on the second line in between Terry and Vatrano. We'll see what happens there, but that would be, I know you gave Strome, and I like the Strome call. There's some good odds there, but that's the line I think for me. And we'll get to more sense here in a second when it comes to the value that I think there is on the board. But Mason McTavish is plus 100 for a point. Like, say you put him, Vatrano, and Terry on a same game parlay, that's 4-1. Like, everyone's going to be thinking Ottawa here tonight in DFS, and I get it. I like it. But maybe going the other way, there's not going to be an ownership issue tonight with 12 games in the slate. But I also think that there's value here in the betting market with a point for Terry, Vatrano, McTavish. 4-1 is pretty solid. I do agree with Adams talking about Evans bringing up some same game point parlays like Caulfield Suzuki. What a game that was. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was a good cash game. This one here, I saw Pinto shots, Drew, Tkachuk point parlay, Norris point, lots of ways to attack this game. Yeah, so Stutz is kind of the odd man out right now. He is playing with Giroux at 5-5. That's one that I would consider, like Giroux with Stützle for a same game parlay. That one will pay out plus 105. But yeah, it's Tkachuk. Stützle's off that top power play. Like Pinto's on it, Norris is on the point with Shabbat, and then they have Brady Tkachuk there with Giroux. So I would do something just like I said, Stützle and Giroux, maybe just a Tkachuk. Yeah, I mean, heck, I'll probably honestly roll them all out. Batherson's included in there. Josh Norris is included in there. Pinto's getting a point. All the sense. 10-1 if you went Stützle, Tkachuk, Giroux, Batherson, Norris, and Pinto. That's 10-1. So yeah, you can have some fun. There's lots of ways to attack this. As for single bets, I have Pinto for 2.5 shots. I have Pinto for a point. I think Pinto for a power play point at plus 335 over at Bet MGM is a good prop as well, because the Ducks are going to take 4 or 5 penalties they do every single night. So you want to try to find some value on the power play points. And then I have Josh Norris for a point as well. And Brady Tkachuk for over 4.5 shots at plus money. How about Tkachuk, man? The way that this guy shoots the puck. Last game, he had the hat trick. He had 7 shots. His last few games, 7, 4, 4, and 8. So he's been at 4 straight games. He's cleared 4 in 2 of the 4, and he has a really, really strong matchup today. So just to kind of recap before we move on, because this is a really good game. Your goal scorers?
Vetrano, Strome, Kachuk, and Giroux.
Okay. Pinto shots, Pinto point, Josh Norris point, Brady Kachuk 5 shots. I mean, there's a lot more you can do, but we'll just narrow it down to that. Even Shabbat, man, played 28 minutes the other night. 28 minutes the other night. Like he's in play for 3 shots tonight, a power play point. 10-1. Try that one out for a same game parlay, a little bit of a long shot. Same game parlay there with the Sens top guys to pick up points. You can do the other way and have them just to have shots. In case Gibson stands on his head tonight, they're going to get some shot attempts. Maybe you just do a same game parlay with shots, tease some guys down. And you can get some pretty good odds there as well. All right, what's next, UI?
Let's do LA, New Jersey, the conundrums of the NHL.
Oh boy, LA and New Jersey. I don't know what's up with the Kings. Like, what an embarrassing showing against Buffalo. I don't look into plus minus too much, but Kopitar was -6. Kempe was -4. Like, it was that top line that was one of the better 5-5 lines in the NHL for the first 2 months of the season. Just like have forgotten how to play hockey. I feel like I want to go back to them tonight, but it's really hard to ignore how awful they're playing, and they're not getting any goaltending. So, I mean, New Jersey's won a couple in a row here. Jack Hughes' shot props at 3.5. That's my favorite play in the game, and I probably will dabble in a Quentin Byfield point because he's -120. And at some point, I think that top line's going to show up, but I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just a sucker for punishment. You got any Kings goal scorers over there?
Oh, yeah. You know I do.
Imagine.
This is a bit of a sidetrack, but I just want to acknowledge Seth in the chat said, good morning. He'd like to thank us for sponsoring his bedroom festivities last night. I don't know 100%. I mean, I'm old enough to understand, but I'm not 100% sure what that means. But Seth, you're very welcome, man. You know, this is a group effort, and if we can keep spirits alive and keep spirits up during the middle of the NHL season, like, we're all for it, man.
Seth says, good morning, fellas. I'd like to thank Chris, EY, and Dangle Bet Celly for sponsoring last night's bedroom festivities. Also, thanks to Jack Hughes, Cole Caulfield, and Shane Pinto. He must have had a bit of a parlay on those 3 shooters, won some cash, and treated his girl to a really good night on Valentine's Day. So, hey, man, we're here to do whatever we can to create a distraction. Put a smile on somebody's face, win some cash, and I guess put a smile on somebody else's face as well in your special life. Okay,
I didn't want to miss that. All right.
I'm glad you. Yeah, we could miss that.
LA, New Jersey. You're usually better at catching that stuff because I'm in my zone here, like looking at stuff. Anyways,
that's pretty good.
Kempe and Fiala. I feel like that's the answer for me most of the time. Fiala playing the point on the power play. Kempe's a shooter. Fiala's a highly skilled player. He has not lived up to his billing this year, but I just don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a meteoric rise and just a meteoric meltdown right now.
It's wild.
Firing the coach was a mistake. Like,
I agree, actually.
I mean, a lot of the time it's a mistake. They just don't. There is no other moves. They can't fire the players. They can't fire the owners. You know, like it's really like with a GM. It's the only move they have left. So that's what they did. And I understand that. But Kempe, Fiala, New Jersey side, I'm going Hughes and Toffoli. Watching them play my Preds the other night. I mean, Jack Hughes is just a wizard. And
he's special.
Reminds me so much of Patrick Kane when he has the puck because he's just so damn small. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. And nobody can touch him. It's cool. Toffoli, you know, moving around in slow motion out there, but still putting the puck on the net, still in all the right places. It's a player that I've liked for a long time. He's at plus 200, so I love that.
Yeah, I like the call on Toffoli and Hughes. I mean, just because Hughes is, I mean, Toffoli, like I think he said it perfectly. He's out there looking slow, but he does find the right areas. and he's still got a hell of a shot, man. And Jack Hughes is just he's just a beast. So the best price I'm seeing at Hughes at the moment, 3.5, as Evan says. Count me in. -130 over at DraftKings. Also think the stab for him to have a 2-point night at +165. Why not, man? The way that the Kings are playing hockey right now, and the way that their goaltending is, like, my goodness, they're just so brutal at the moment. +165 for Jack Hughes to have a 2-point night tonight. And I think Toffoli is in a decent spot. You like him to score a goal, some really good odds for that, for him to score there. He's -130 for a point. So I think because it's the Kings, you could actually just take those guys as singles, and that one that should pay. That should be plus money, like just slightly. Just a quick time, check it out here for you guys. Jack Hughes and Tyler Toffoli's +110. So you can shy away from the 2-point night if you want. You're a 365 user. You can go with the player milestone. You can go Jack Hughes and Tyler Toffoli for a point +110. I think DraftKings won't allow you to do that. You'll have to take the 1.5. But I think the 1.5 as a single is a pretty good play there. So yeah, I am a sucker for punishment. I mean, they just came off, I think, their worst game of the season. They're probably between Byfield and Kempe and Kopitar, they were probably -13. I don't know. I know that Kempe and Kopitar are -10. So Kopitar, Byfield, sucker for punishment, man. That's how I lose bucks. +280 for those guys all to pick up a point. And I'd say Byfield at -120, I think, is decent as well. I'm going to put him down on my sheet. It's not a bad long shot. Kind of like the Ducks one more at 4-1. Something about that 4-1, man. Mason McTavish does make things happen. He needs to stop taking penalties too, though. Man, that guy just takes penalties. EY, any more thoughts on this? 5 games. I'm going to get into it too much. Daily handles with Jordan Allen.
Oh,
5 games.
I mean, at this point, they gave this job to George Peros. I think from the beginning, he's just been too inconsistent. Yeah. I get that he fought in the NHL and he went to Harvard or whatever it is that he did. I haven't heard anything bad said about the guy, but he's just not equipped to do this. There's just no, I mean, what I'm saying by that is every time there's something, nobody can guess, right? No one can just say, oh, that's what's going to probably happen. I mean, look at hitting Rielly Greig in the head with his stick. Not good in today's NHL. Probably not good ever. Would I have done it if I played in the NHL and he did that? I probably would have. And as a Maple Leafs fan, I'm glad he did it. And I don't have anything against Rielly Greig. I mean, he knew. Like, he's not an idiot. Like, he knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, he was laughing about it after the game.
Yeah, and I heard Jeff Merrick talking to, oh my God, was it Chris King? I can't remember. And he said, look, man, like, as a player in Ottawa, you play a home game and you look around and half of the people in the thing are wearing Toronto Maple Leafs jerseys and they're yelling at you the whole time. Your team's been bad. You know, you lost 1 million games. Now you're playing at home and there's more away fans in your building and you're irritated. And that's an FU to those people that paid money to come see their team lose. And I said, I don't know if anyone is smart enough to think like that in the moment, but this is a guy that played in the NHL. I thought it was a very interesting take. He knew exactly what he was doing. I think it's going to be in the long run the best thing for the Maple Leafs. It will rally them. It's an unfortunate that it's Morgan Rielly and he's got to miss 5 games because he's been maybe their best player. I mean, most consistent and best.
Yeah, he's having a good year.
But he might be their best player this year and most important player this year. Like, I get Austin Matthews has got a chance to score 60 to 70 goals, and that's I mean, what he gets paid to do. But Morgan Rielly's been unbelievable all year, and 5 is too many. You know, he didn't even get hurt, and I get that's not supposed to factor in, but like, he's wearing a helmet, like he's smiling, he gets up, he's joking around, talking about it after the game like it's no big deal. Rielly doesn't do this. He has no priors, or however you want to say that. It's like it's a criminal charge. Yeah. But I don't. It just seems like nonsense to me for it to be 5 games.
People like conspiracy theorists think everyone is out to get the Leafs. Yeah, I don't know. I get it. It's a hockey
Conspiracy
market.
theories that I'm a Maple Leafs fan, and people that think that are not doing well mentally. It's one of the biggest revenue winners for the league. The league does not want to punish the team that's bringing in the most amount of money. Use your brain.
I again, I'm not gonna get into it anymore. Really, the one thing, I agree. Probably like three games, just because of the stick. Like nothing happens if he just goes over and punches him in the head after.
Right.
Although Goodbranson got a game a couple of years ago for just going after Nick Cousins and just dummying him.
Right.
Pretty much mid play got a game, so maybe it would have got it one game. Who knows with the department? They like you said, they've been Paris and company been super inconsistent. But it is funny that all these years we've been talking about the Maple Leafs, showing some emotion, sticking up for each other, and this is what it takes: a shot at an empty net against your arch rival. That's what it takes to get them fired up. Not Matthews getting cheap shotted, not Nylander, not Marner, not any of those guys getting bullied. It's an empty net shot from your rival. They talked about it on Around the Horn yesterday at ESPN with Tony Rielly. They never really talk about the NHL, and all of the people on the desk. I mean, Emily Kaplan was on there.
Great work, ESPN. Talk about one of the stupidest things that happened in the NHL. That's
they were all just
talk about it.
None of them understood it. They were all just like, a rivalry, empty net, slap shot. Are you allowed to take a slap shot at an empty net? Like none of them really got it. And they talked about hockey code, and then
what a surprise
them all. So yeah, but yeah, lots of great things.
I love you, Greg Wyshynski.
You went with. All right, EY, what's next?
Let's go Seattle, Boston.
All right, Seattle and Boston. This is a game I don't necessarily love that much for props. So you take it away. You got a goal scorer too, Seattle, Boston. Great call by you the other day with the Kraken win.
Yeah. They Grubauer has been playing a lot better, and I think that's the big thing. I think what led me to that, and then watching a bunch of that game, I'll say this: Matty Beniers looks like a superstar, and he looked so good, and it's not going to last if he keeps playing this way. It's not going to last. FanDuel has him to score at 490.
It's pretty good.
He's the starting center. He's starting on the top power play, plus 490. I mean, even if you don't know who Matt Beniers is, it's worth putting $1 on that, right?
Yep.
$490 is insane for a guy that's going to play that many minutes. In that last game, if you watch it, you saw Matt Beniers kind of like taking the game over. And really like the player, really like those odds. I'm betting on him to score and Bjorkstrand to score. He's at plus 340, which is pretty juicy too. Boston side, Pasta and Marchand again. I know I sound like a broken record, but when you're going to have the two superstar players, two of the top scorers on the team, play separately on two different lines and then play together in the power play, that's the strategy for me, right? I'm going to bet on Pasta to score regardless, even when he's got negative numbers. I'm not going to, bet on him slowly. I'm going to include him maybe in an 8-way parlay.
I mean, he's scoring every night, basically. He's got 33. I went and looked earlier. It's since December. I got to double check here now. Since December 22nd. That's a lot of games. He's only gone scoreless 4 times since December 22nd. We're going on 2 months here. Yeah. And he's had a lot of multi-point games over that span. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's coming off a 2-point game, 12. I don't have much in this game at all. I think the Bruins win the game in a probably a low-scoring affair. I'd say like a 3-2 hockey game or something like that. I don't think we'll see a ton of offense from the Kraken side. And the Bruins been playing to some unders. 5 straight games have been played to the under. The unders actually hit in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of their last 8 a game. So Adam says he's got a Bruins over 1.5, team total, Kraken under 3.5, pass with 3 shots. Yeah, I mean, that probably all hits. I mean, it's not great odds there, minus 135, but it probably hits. I'd say that's a good little build that you got there. Bruins in regulation like that one as well. Been waiting all season for this Bruins team to fall apart. Just hasn't happened yet. It hasn't, but they have lost. They're not like they were. They've lost 3 or 4. I thought they looked pretty flat against the Bolts the other night. They got shut out to Washington. So maybe it's the start. Still like the Panthers guys to catch them. I still like the Panthers to win the Atlantic.
Panthers are so good, man. Good
we've been talking about them. Let's go right there. Panthers are in action tonight. Let's move on from this game. So they played last night. They took care of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We'll get to Pittsburgh in a little bit. They got an easier matchup tonight against Chicago, but it looks like they're going to be without Jake Gensel. And, there's some rumors about him getting traded. So bad time, I think, for him to go down. Don't know the extent. I think it was an upper body injury. All right, so Florida and Buffalo here. I did put Florida in. I know it's the second half of a back-to-back. Sabres, coming off the big W, the 7-0 beatdown. But I don't know, man. I'm just a sucker for Florida. I think I bet them every night. I'm always in on them. Like I said earlier, I think we got 18-1 for them to win the cup, 5-1 for the division, 9-1 for the conference. We're just me personally, I'm just all in, and I'm gonna be come playoff time. I just love the style of hockey that they play. I like everything about what's going on with Florida. So minus 148 now, current odds. Reinhart against his former squad. They've loaded up that top line. Paul Maurice does this sometimes. Yep. He has got Cousins now with man, and that's a nasty line to play against. You want to talk about physical and finishing your checks? Cousins, Kachuk, and Bennett.
Miserable.
Forget about it. And then last night it was really the third line, a little bit of that line, and the third and fourth line that were the top line took the night off. But they got Verhaeghe with Barkov and Reinhart, and I don't think that line will take the night off in consecutive nights. Somebody on that line has scored. You got Reinhart revenge goal. I think he scores tonight, but I like Verhaeghe as well. Those two just are snipers, man. And I like that they're, for the first time in a couple of years, Verhaeghe's on that top power play. Like, think about how loaded they've been that they haven't been able to put him on the first power play. He's got such a good shot. Anyways, those are my two guys. I like Peterka shooting the puck a lot on the Buffalo side. I think he's an interesting shot prop.
Yeah.
You got him to score?
I do. Yeah. I saw that. Evan was talking, or Adam Shemansky was talking about Peterka.
Nice.
He's played pretty well for Buffalo, and
good season.
I got Tage. He didn't score last time. I was yelling at the TV and messaging you.
How do they have 7 goals?
And he doesn't have one of them.
Yeah,
he doesn't have one. The best player on the team, and it's not even measurable. Okposo playing up in the top line, the top power play is
why?
I don't
stop it,
guys. Stop it.
I know.
Just
like
stop.
I know Tuck is going on the third.
He tries hard and all this great hockey stuff, but are we not trying to win games? And if you're not trying to win games, Kyle Okposo's 75 years old. He doesn't need more experience. You need these young guys on the ice when it matters. Anyways, what do I know?
He's got goals in back-to-back games. I thought you were gonna pick him.
I
thought you were gonna pick him.
I don't care. It's insane. Why?
It is.
Why
it really is. I know.
On?
I watch him. Like, he's been there for. You said it. He's been there forever. A leader. He's gone through some things in his life, some adversity. He's back here. But yeah, I see that too. Like, top line, I see Tuck on the third line. Tuck gets more ice time than him. Tuck's kind of going lately too, so maybe it's working. But Skinner's been quiet. I don't understand it either. But yeah, 10 minutes the other night he played. He had a goal. He's plus 510 to score a goal. And you know what happens when we talk about these things? We talk about these things and we try to figure out why. They just we look like idiots at the end of the day. Okposo's scoring tonight.
I quit this show.
No, don't say that. He might score tonight.
I quit. If he scores tonight, I quit. That's as simple as that.
Could be the last show.
All right. Matthew Kachuk, 175. It was nice knowing everybody. Reinhart, plus 125. Buffalo, I'm going Tage at 210 and Peterka at plus 280.
All right.
Not Kyle Okposo. I have nothing against Okposo. He's a fine player.
Yeah.
Leader.
He was a fine player.
Like you said, battle diversity, whatever. It's a great story. But good God, stop.
Stop. It seems like we're all in on Peterka here as a show. We were I think we were riding him for a little bit when Tage Thompson was out, right? We just kept going back
Yeah.
to him and Rasmus Dahlin, and those guys were shooting when Tage was out of the lineup. It's gonna be a battle. Right? Buffalo's gonna. I think Buffalo will give him a go. We may have to sweat this one out, but I like Florida on the money line. And like I said, I don't think that top line will be off the score sheet again. I'll go right back to them at plus 150, bet 365 for them all to pick up a point. And you could even maybe sprinkle the 2. I think that's what. I think that's what I'm with you, Adam. Maybe the little small sprinkle on the 2. I usually do the 1 unit on the 1. So the 1 unit at plus 150, then you can go 0.25. 0.25 for Reinhart, Barkov, and Verhage, and that's at 14-1 for those 2 guys. But yeah, Kachuk's a beast, man. Always in play for like a 2-point night, the assist or the an anytime goal scorer. Pretty solid. Panthers are electric. Paterka.
I don't have good enough hair to be a Kachuk brother, but I kind of want to be the third one, like the failure, the one that never made it to the NHL. So I had to do something else. My beard is gray. I lost all my hair, but I'm still related to them because I love them that much. You think Keith would adopt me? I think if I met Keith, he would like me. If I got him drunk enough, I'm gonna getting on the phone here with Biz Nasty and get that line.
Yeah, man, he can pound them, so you're gonna have to.
He's a big dude.
Get him drunk.
No stranger. I'm no stranger to the alcoholic beverages.
Evan, as we chatted about earlier off the top, I mean, Minnesota's they're pushing for a playoff spot. That top line looks good. I like that Boldy's playing with good players, and I just continue to go back to them. I think from a same game parlay, a shot prop standpoint, let's ride this thing out with Minnesota. They're playing really good hockey. Prince in the house, Maniac parlay is on tonight.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. I feel good all the time, unless Kyle Caposa scores tonight. I have to quit.
This will be the last show of the year. Okay, you're up. What do you got next? What's on the sheet?
Philly and Toronto. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go for it.
All right, let's do it. Man, I was feeling pretty good about the Blues plus 180 dog of the night when I heard that Marner and Tavares weren't going to play along with Morgan Rielly, but it didn't matter. I joked on Twitter that this will be the game that the Maple Leafs win 4-0. They almost did win 4-0. Philly's going to give them a go, though. We've been talking about Philly all year. 5-5 hockey, really good brand of 5-5 hockey. They suppress shots. I like Owen Tippett tonight for 4 shots, and I don't have a whole lot else from this game. Are we expecting Marner and Tavares to return tonight to action? These guys are questionable. They're day to day. They were late scratches, so maybe they were close to playing on Tuesday. Man, you never go wrong with Austin Matthews, but what I've learned this year is you probably shouldn't take any shot props against the Philadelphia Flyers. Again, they just kind of suppress shots.
Pucks just start getting to the net, right?
Yeah, I think there's still pretty decent value on maybe plus 115 for Matthews to have a 2-point night or minus 120 for him to have an assist. I know he's a goal scorer, and we view him as an elite goal scorer, as one of the best in the league, if not the best. But there's still a touch of value there on the Apple. But I like Owen Tippett. Tippett's been we got lucky with him the other night. The empty net goal got it done. But he's plus 100 over at Bet Rivers for 3 shots, and he's minus 140 for a point. It's kind of getting to the point where you can't take that as a single. It's pretty close, but I'm gonna do it. What you got over there?
I'm gonna go with Connect Me 170. Having a great year, great player. Obviously, like the Flyers are a surprise to us all. Connecting success isn't a surprise to us. We've been talking about him for several years. Love this guy as a player. And we had talked about Joel Farabee. Look, man, he's playing important minutes, playing on the top power play, opposite side of Connecting, and he's plus 260. He's scoring quite a bit, right? There's worse people to gamble your money on to score a goal than Farabee. Toronto side, Matthews at negative 115. And from watching the last game, Nick Robertson was all around the puck, man, all around the puck. And I was reading a stat of, I think it was like a week or two, up until about a week or two ago, he had limited ice time, but like his rating of scoring per capita, like basically how often he's on the ice, was one of the highest in the NHL. He doesn't play a ton, hasn't scored a ton, but if you measure the time on ice to how many goals he scored, he's one of the top in the NHL, and he looked really good the other day. I think if those guys don't play, that's a bigger opportunity for him. Could even get some power play time, and that's why I'm putting him there. Obviously, if Tavares and Marner play, I would pivot and probably put Tavares in.
Well, it seems like the flu bug is going around. Nylander didn't practice yesterday, so he's questionable to play tonight as well. So, I mean, there's 3 guys here. And Philly, it's tough to bet against the Leafs, but it's also tough to take them when their odds are like this. Actually, it's not even too bad, man. I think people are betting Philly. You know, Toronto's only minus 140 at home, and Philly's plus 125. As the hard as a working team as they are and the brand of hockey they play at 5-5, it's probably not a bad bet, considering just the flu bug going through the Leafs right now. How about Bobby McCann? Do you think that anybody bet on him to have a hat trick the other night? 6 shots.
People didn't bet on him to score. He wasn't even supposed to play.
Yeah, I know.
He got in the game because those 2 guys were out. That's how he was a scratch. And then he scores 3 goals, of course.
And he scored. Go figure. All right, we'll move on. I like Tippett. We're on Tippett. Yep, we like the way that he plays, and he's not afraid to rip it. Okay, let's keep going here. We got to maybe pick up the pace a touch. We got Montreal, and this is what we do. I mean, CY's last show anyways, so maybe we'll just
let's celebrate, guys.
Drag it out a bit because
can't wait to buy an Okposo jersey.
There's just no question that Kyle Okposo is scoring a goal tonight. Okay, so Habs and Rangers in New York, pretty big favorites here at home, minus 250, and the Montreal checking in at plus 225. We should see Montembeault tonight, so I mean, maybe
that's what it's showing.
Yeah, he's the best of the bunch in Montreal, so maybe he can keep this thing pretty tight. I mean, we're going back to Slafkovsky. I don't care who the heck they're playing. I don't care if Shesterkin has had 17 shutouts in a row. Man, I got to eat my words here. I liked the pick at the time. I didn't want Shane Wright. I liked Logan Cooley, but I was fine with the pick at the time. Last year, just like, whoa, it doesn't look good at all. And even the first couple of weeks, just like, oh man, like I'm not seeing any development here from Slafkovsky. But again, he's super young. This guy has just been extremely impressive, man. I am so impressed every time I watch him play now. Not every time, but the past like month, it's just been on point. Nick Suzuki is second in the NHL in points since January 20th. Go figure. That line is playing extremely well. And Slafkovsky's coming off the 3-point night. We were all over that the other night. He had the 3 shots. He's had 3 shots in 4 of his last 5. He checks in riding a 6-game point streak, and he's got 5 goals over that span. So he's on that power play. They're whipping it around really nice. Suzuki's been playing really, really good hockey, point per game guy, and Caulfield shooting. So I like that trio again, and maybe a Suzuki Caulfield same game parlay. I got the plus 100 on Slafkovsky for a point. And you know what? Suzuki shooting more. I just think this is when I see plus 140 for him to have plus 145 for Suzuki to have 3 shots. I like it. And I know it's a tough matchup, and I know that's all baked in, and he's a pass first guy. But he has goals in 4 straight games. And he's got 6 goals over that span. He's got 7 goals in his last 6 games. He had 5 shots the other night. He's shooting the puck more. He's playing a lot. And he is, even though he looks to Caulfield a lot for the one-timer, teams are focusing in on that. And I think that's why Slafkovsky's having a lot of success. But Suzuki, the plan is for Suzuki to come around the circle, either rip it or go far or bring it back across to Matheson. So I think he's worth a stab too. On the Rangers side, Lafreniere always seems to light up his hometown childhood squad. I know this is in New York at MSG, but he's been playing pretty good. The over 2.5 shots is slightly juiced, but I like him for the 3 shots and to hit the score sheet. And one guy that always scores against the Habs, and Habs fans, I know you guys don't like him. I'm with you. Chris Kreider. Kreider always scores against Montreal. He took out Price in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not over it. But Kreider scores a goal. Rangers probably win the game by 2. It's probably a pretty good bet for them winning the puck line. What you got?
I'm going to go Zibanejad and Kakko. And Kakko has been kind of missing in action, but looked pretty good in the last game. He had assist. They got to try to get him going or do something. That's why I have a gut feeling about it. And he's a plus 390, so I like that. Caulfield, I wanted to put Slafkovsky, but I knew you were going to talk about him. And they're on the same line, so I wanted to spread it around a little bit. So I'm going to go Josh Anderson at 470.
Nice. That's some pretty good odds for Anderson. Yeah, Caulfield at 3.5 plus 110. I would take that too. Again, it's the Rangers. It's not the same sort of matchup that he just had against the Ducks. But if you look at the game log, he's been shooting like 4+, I think, in like 6 of 7 or something very, very close to that. We are getting Igor, right? Igor had the shutout the other night. Maybe they go right back to him. Yeah. He's starting to turn it up a little bit. Although there's some odd games in there from him. Jake Seeley's a loose Rangers fan. He calls him shit Sturkin. I'm like, he's not that bad, no? And when he watches him play, he's like, I don't know. Every time I watch him play, he's
had a bumpy
that's just the way the
year.
NHL is.
He's a top 5 in the league.
Yeah. Can't complain about Igor. Lafreniere shots 2.5. Notice has been much better at home in a good matchup. Yeah, I mean, I've been taking him. I saw -140. He's -120 for a point. I mean, he's playing with Artemi Panarin, right? Panarin is just hitting the score sheet all the time. Please help. I need bets from the Islanders Rangers Stadium Series. I'm going. I mean, when is that? I don't know.
Is that Saturday?
Maybe we can revisit that at the end. I don't know, like quick time thinking, like Horvat. I know Horvat and Barzal are getting to the point where you can't take them over, but those guys are just feeling it. Like those would be the two that I would go to. Maybe a long shot for. I know you don't like the Islanders, Troy, but maybe a Palmieri long shot, anytime goal, some sort of
it's Sunday.
Some sort of same game parlay with Barzal and Horvat. On the Rangers side, I think Lafreniere, again, like Lafreniere is noticeable to me. We're starting to lose a little bit of value on the shot prop, but again, he's -120 for a point tonight against the Habs. He's probably going to be +100 for a point against Sorokin. So that's Sunday. Good. Enjoy, man. That should be a really good one. Yeah, I knew the Devils and Flyers Saturday and then Islanders and Rangers Sunday. Should be good, both of those. I could put my bias aside to cash these bets. I wouldn't ignore Horvat and Barzal for shot props, and Lafreniere. Those would be the 3 guys that kind of stand out to me. Igor's playing like a hot doo-doo. I just think that, I don't know, man, like these goalies go through these stretches.
I think he was. I don't think he's it feels like he's got the ship back going the right direction here.
Yeah. It's really only been a couple that have been consistent all year, like maybe Swayman and Hellebuck. Okay, what haven't we done here? Dallas and Nashville. Yep. Take it away. Your Preds got a chance here. They're home dogs against the Stars.
Yeah, they always have a chance.
Welcome home, Matt Duchene.
Young team, that's it. I'm betting on him to score because I'm still heartbroken about it, and he's dead to me. Nashville, Philip Forsberg, because nobody else can score. That's just how it's been for the last decade, it feels like. And Cody Glass. Cody Glass is 440. They're trying to get him going. He's playing on the top power play, playing more important minutes. And I will say he has been noticeable on the ice. So there's worse places you could put your money. I'm not sure where, but I mean, you probably could. Dallas, Hintz at +200 and Jamie Benn at +300.
Yep. Stars on the money line, one of my favorite plays. I think we got -130 last night. I'm seeing -135. So yeah, it's not a shot on the Preds. It's just I'm right there. As much as I love Florida, I'm right there when it comes to Dallas. A couple ones we hit the other night. Let's go right back to it. Hintz and Robertson, +115, same game parlay. One of my favorite plays of the night in terms of a same game parlay. You can include Pavelski on there if you want. He's back up in the top line, and right away they all hit the score sheet. I just had the Hintz and Robertson one, but if you include Pavelski in there, it's +210. And then we have to go to the third line. You get the fun revenge narrative thing, but it's not just that. It's just the fact that these guys are just playing so good. +350 for Duchene, Sagan, and not Heiskanen. We want Marchment. +400 for those guys, and a little bit of a sprinkle on the 2.9. I think you could do it for both. I know you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket here in a 12-game slate, but excuse me, I think, just pizza money, like even a buck for Duchene, Sagan, and Marchment for 2 points. That's 70-1. Maybe a buck for Robertson, Hintz, and Pavelski for 2 points. That's 20-1. So some good opportunities there. Duchene is -150 for a point. I think he does find the back of the net. I'm with you. but minus 140 is not too bad for a point. And I will say that Tyler Seguin is rejuvenated because of Duchesne. He's minus 110 for a point. We'll move on. What's next?
Colorado, Tampa Bay.
Ooh, should be a good one. Colorado, Tampa Bay. Great call by you the other night with Lehkonen. Even though he was bumped off that top line, he had 2 goals and he had 2 assists. So and we talked about him being such an underrated player in the NHL, right? The nice behind the back pass, between the legs pass. And we also said that he missed a lot of time with a significant neck injury. And sometimes it just takes a little bit for players to get going. So are you going back to him tonight to score, Artturi Lehkonen?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going back to Lehkonen. He looked awesome. I think he's going to be a very important piece for this team going forward. I don't think that should be any surprise to anybody. And, of course, McKinnon plus 100. On the other side, Kucherov at 105 and Stamkos at 165.
Nice. Do you think the Avs need to add somebody? I thought like Monahan and Lindholm was probably on their list, but maybe they just didn't want to pay up. You think? I think Colorado needs to add. I mean, especially with like, there's no Landeskog. It doesn't sound like he's going to come back. No Nichushkin. When's he going to come back? He may not. Like Colorado probably needs to add, right, to go on another run. Remember, they got bounced by the Kraken in the first round last year. No, you didn't hear me. Do you think Colorado needs to add somebody at the trade deadline?
Yeah. Yes.
To go on a legitimate run.
Yeah. Like, look at I think the Ross Colton thing was cool. I think O'Connor, like, there's something there. I guess maybe if Lehkonen, because he's been kind of out for quite a while, if he turns into the player that he was for them. But the truth is one of my favorite players and one of their best players is gone. And we don't have any idea when he's coming back. And like, there hasn't been mentioned. Maybe he shows up tonight. I don't know. I don't have that kind of information. But if you lose Valerie Nichushkin, this is a guy that, I mean, he's effective all over the ice. Like, players like that don't grow on trees. And you need a person in your top 6 to replace it. Could you put Ross Colton in that position to trust him to do the same things? I think if you said yes, you're kidding yourself.
Ross Colton revenge game. That's right. I like McKinnon for 5 shots. I don't care that it's Tampa. They're not the same Tampa squad as we're used to seeing, and he's plus money for 5 shots tonight. So I definitely I'm going to that one. And yeah, I mean, let's just ride this second line out. Second line for points individually, parlay for all of them, 2 point for all of them. We're all in on Dallas, so it can go wrong. Saros 45 save shutout. Okay, we're getting near the end here. We're almost there. Blues and Oilers tonight. St. Louis at home. I like Edmonton here. I'm willing to do some puck line stuff. I know that the Blues are playing pretty good hockey, and I was on them on Tuesday, and I was on the wrong side of that. But again, I just feel like East Coast trip back home, got to face Edmonton. I don't know. How about McDavid the other night with the 6 assists? Are you kidding me? This guy's a freak of nature. Evander Kane's shot prop. It's just too juiced. Man, we were riding that one out. He got back down to 2.5. We had a couple nice games with the 2 units on it here and there. I like him for the point at minus 115. I think that there's pretty decent value for Kane, and he's playing probably his best hockey of the season.
Yeah,
they put him with Draisaitl, and he's going again. He's got 4 goals in his last 3 games, and it's more the attempts. The attempts seem to be there for him every night. 4-3-3. These are shots. 0-3-7-3 and 4 the last couple. So maybe in some sort of parlay for him to have 3 shots, but I'm going with Kane for the point at minus 115. And this has been, because of the slow start, McDavid's 2 point, like minus 115. It's still only minus 115. I know it doesn't seem like a great price for somebody to pick up 2 points, but I'm got to do it. So it's one of my favorite plays. McDavid, he's coming off his 6 point night. Yeah. What do you got for goal scorers?
McDavid, Draisaitl on the Edmonton side, of course. Kyrou plus 200, who's having a sneaky, really, really good offensive year. Him and Thomas have been talking about these 2 players being this thing, and they put them together, and there seems to be some kind of a mind meld happening there, which is really cool to see for St. Louis, for hockey fans, because they're just really good together. And I'm going to go Buchnevich as well at plus 220. I think I was reading the reason why that is he's centering the top power play, which I mean, it seems kind of wild. I didn't know he even played center, but here
Yeah.
we are, St. Louis, and I like Buchnevich as a player. Always have.
Yeah. It's a good point. I mean, if it's a winner and you like it, drinking the juice at -156 for Kane at over 2.5 shots, one of the streakiest players in the league, and he's hot right now. I agree, and no juice when you win. So it does sting when you don't hit a bet like that. But man, he is playing really good at the moment. They're leaning on him a little bit more with the promotion up in the top 6, and he's always just been a guy that likes to shoot the puck. Pittsburgh and Chicago in here next. Any chance of a potential upset here?
No.
No, okay. Plus 180 for the Blackhawks. Pittsburgh at -210. I don't know what it is about Pittsburgh. They'll probably squeak one out. When I watch the Hawks, man, especially at home, it's Mrazek that kind of keeps them in games. I feel like teams should blow them out a little bit more. This one may be a tight one. I'd say the under is probably a good play. Chicago doesn't score a lot of goals. Pittsburgh without Gensel. If it is Mrazek, can he keep them, to 3? Pittsburgh to 3, maybe 2. Interesting to see how those lines shape up without Jake Gensel. Brian Rust has been playing pretty good. We had him last night for a point. He was around -120, I think, for a point. Now tonight he's -166, but I think like the assist, plus 150, something like that. I don't know. I don't have a lot of plays in this game. I just have this weird feeling that the Penguins are going to blow this thing up. I don't know.
And that could happen, but they're not beating. They're not losing to Chicago tonight. I don't care if it's at home or on the moon. Chicago stinks. Pittsburgh, Crosby 115. Rielly Smith could get promoted up to that top line. Plus 300 on FanDuel. And even if not, they still have him listed playing on the top power play. Yes, please. Chicago, because I have to. Kurashev at plus 340, centering the top line somehow, centering the top power play somehow. And, of course, Nick Foligno, because he's just a goal scorer, prolific goal scorer. And I like that Chicago is this bad. Just so you know,
well, they're just going to get another stud in the draft.
I know. They're going to get it anyways. Plus
Rielly Smith is a really good call. He's -105 for a point. He's plus 400 for a power play point, and he's plus 140 for 3 shots. He's in the 4 games since he's returned, he's had 2 shots in each one of those games, just the 3 once. But you got to think without Gensel, in the way that Crosby can distribute the puck, he may be the shooter on that line tonight, him and Brian Rust, and certainly on the power play. So we'll see. Yeah, it doesn't sound like Gensel's going to be able to play. I think he's getting evaluated for an upper body injury, which is just not a good sign. So I love the Rielly Smith call. That one's going to go in the tracker after. I think plus 400 is an interesting stab too, power play point. All right, San Jose, SJ Sharkey, as Cam Stewart likes to say. We have San Jose and Calgary coming off a 1-0 loss last night. We had Mikael Granlund in the tracker at 1.5 shots. He hit that one. I'm gonna go back to him tonight. He was pretty good for a while when Logan Couture was hurt. Man, Logan Couture is hurt again, and Thomas Hertl's out for quite some time. So it was Granlund's first game since. I know, so bad. It was his first game since January 16th. He played 19 minutes and he had 3 shots. He's had an okay season for them. 29 points in 39 games is pretty solid considering really good. He didn't really even get to play with Couture or any of these other good guys. So good season, taking on a leadership role there. Lots of ice time. It may be, it's just 2 shots. So it may be one of my favorite plays, Granlund at -110 for 2 shots on goal tonight. I don't expect a whole lot from San Jose. Calgary's massive favorites here tonight. You got Kuzmenko, Sharon Govich. There's lots of different ways to go. Kadri's been really good over the last month. I don't love his wingers, but he finds ways to pick up points. And then the Backlund, Mangiapane, and Coleman line, they check a lot of boxes at 5-5.
Yeah, Calgary has somehow managed to right the ship a little bit, right? And I think not enough people are recognizing that Markstrom is playing out of his mind, right?
Yeah.
Well, they need to trade him. I mean, maybe not. Maybe hold on to him. I don't know. I don't know what's right there.
Trade him.
It might be the right thing to do, especially now. Like all of a sudden he's playing. He hasn't played well since getting there, right? Like hasn't been
very inconsistent. Yeah,
he's been very consistent over the last couple of months. Like Vezina caliber numbers. He's playing really, really good hockey right now for Calgary. Calgary side, I got Kuzmenko and Kadri. We're in lockstep there. Kuzmenko at plus 220. Jump on that while you can because it's not going to last.
Right.
This is an elite offensive player, and he didn't get along in Vancouver. Didn't like in Vancouver. I don't know. I don't know how you like living in Calgary more than you like living in Vancouver, but here we are in the bizarro world. Kadri at 190. Nothing against Calgary, but Vancouver's one of those places on earth.
Is beautiful. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And it's not as cold.
Oh. That's the thing. Like, I mean, really go ahead and rip a winter in Calgary, and you'll find out all about it. We'll see how tough you really are. Kadri 195. San Jose side. Look at, like, I could just leave this blank. It would be more right, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not a coward.
But they won't be in the 8-way. They won't be in the 8-leg.
They will not be in the 8-way. Zetterlund 280, and my boy Barabanov is back plus 430. Let it rip.
He is your boy, eh?
Top six.
Kuzmenko minus 135 for Kuzmenko for a point. I think there's pretty good value across the board on these Calgary guys, to be honest with you. Coleman minus 140 for a point. Huberdeau probably not. Minus 150 is a bit much. But Kuzmenko, Sharangovich, and Huberdeau 3-1. I know, Adam, plug your ears. You don't like Huberdeau props, but I mean, listen, the opportunity back-to-back nights for the Sharks, super thin down the middle of the ice. No Hurdle and no Couture. The defense is atrocious. They gave up like 50 shots last night. Well, how many are they going to give up tonight with Calgary kind of feeling themselves at the moment? So plus 300 for that top line to pick up a point. And I also think, it's in play for, you want to talk about 2 points. You want to have pizza money on this. Huberdeau, Kuzmenko, and Sharangovich 35-1. And one more I'll throw out there is Coleman, Backlund, and Mangiapane at plus 375 for the point tonight. But Kuzmenko, a little bit juice, minus 150 for 2 shots, and Granlund at a great price at minus 110 for 2 shots. I worked in the oil patch for a couple of years, and I worked in Calgary in minus 50-degree weather. That's Celsius. So even colder for your American folks out there. We were swabbing water. We were like oil testers, and we were swabbing water, and it would immediately from down below, when it would hit our pipes, it would instantly just freeze. I'm sitting there like pumping methanol for 8 hours, and I wanted to quit and on the spot. This is not for me. This is not for me. I did it another day, and then I was like, I'm going back into the media world.
Yep.
It was just awful.
Robert,
ooh, boys, just came off a brutal night of not feeling well, riding whatever you picked today and going back to bed. Oh, dude, got
too many monsters, bud.
Too many monsters for you, dude. But we do appreciate you checking in. You're just in time. We're wrapping up here. We got the final game of the night. See if we can get a winner there for our guy Robert. Detroit and Vancouver.
Should be good.
It really should be good. I like kind of the over. I don't know. Like Detroit typically plays to these overs. They score some goals. Kane is back, hit the score sheet the other night. 12 goals against the in the game against Edmonton. The one play that I like from this game, and I'm going to continue to ride it until I can't play it anymore because of the juice, is Elias Lindholm at minus 135 to pick up a point. He's plus 140 to pick up an assist. It's in his first home game tonight. I'm on Lindholm. What you got over there?
I'm also on Lindholm to score at plus 2. I think it's 220. And this is a great signing by them. The skill set of him, Elias Pettersson playing with Elias Lindholm. Lindholm likes to stand in those kind of like soft areas. And Pettersson likes to skate around the puck and then find him, and he likes to shoot it in the back of the net. I mean, it's literally, I mean, for the two playing styles, and it looks like there's chemistry almost instantaneously. You couldn't draw it up better to have those two players play with each other, right? They're just complete opposite wants and skill sets, and it's been awesome so far. I'm also going Besser at plus 150 on the Detroit side, DeBrincat 220, and JT Comfer at plus 400.
JT, nice. Pew Suter's back.
He's still playing on the top power play, right? Like it's I don't know if it makes sense, but that's what's going on.
And what's up with the DeBrincat? He never got top power play time in Ottawa, and they put him on the second power play in Detroit. Like, I don't understand that. He's no good on the power play? Like, what? This guy can't be on the first power play unit? Like,
that's how he's made all of his bucks.
It blows my mind.
Standing on the left side and ripping the puck. Like, you put Patrick Kane and DeBrincat, they play together on the power play. That's the reason you have them. Whatever. I'm not going to pretend I'm smarter than Lalonde, but I don't know.
I don't either, but I mean, last year it happened as well, right? And then look at this second power play unit: DeBrincat, Sprong, Villano, Kane. Like, Kane, is that the second unit? I mean, the Larkin unit hops on first. Kane with DeBrincat. At least they got them together now. It was Kane on the top one, and DeBrincat wasn't. Elias and Elias, a little bit of you can do a same game parlay for the Elias boys, plus 125 for points. You can do Brock and JT Miller at plus 120. I wish I could find a Pew Suter point prop. Not seeing one. He's plus 290 to score. I think it's an interesting play inside this game, back with Besser and JT Miller. And on the other side, a Kane and DeBrincat point is plus 165, same game parlay there for those guys. But a Lindholm at minus 125. I'd be minus 135. I'd be cautious about the in 60. I said it earlier. I mean, I do think that Vancouver is a good team at home. They're a good team. They're playing arguably the best team in the NHL this year. Last I checked, they're first in points. I think the Bruins are right there, but that road trip, right? In Carolina, in Boston, in Detroit, in Washington, in Chicago. Sometimes these teams are just a little flat to start. Detroit's been there. Yeah. They played in Edmonton 2 nights ago. Maybe it's just a high scoring game. Maybe they pull out the win. Maybe they're a little flat. Attention to details not there. These things happen, especially after long road trips. So we could see a lot of offense. I like the over there in that game. Okay, let's wrap. I'll go with some sides here. You get some goal scorers, and we'll wrap up with some parlays or some point props. So Florida, I like Florida tonight on the money line. The two bets that I made last night, a little bit better odds than now, but I still like them at the moment. The Florida Panthers on the money line, the Dallas Stars on the money line. Those two teams right there. I think that the New York Rangers on the puck line tonight, to win by 2 goals against the Canadians. I think that's a decent little play there. As I said earlier, I like the over between Detroit and Vancouver. I like Calgary on the puck line too. It's not one of my favorite plays just because it's a little juicy, but I do think that they beat the Sharks by a couple goals tonight just because of what you said, EY. Markstrom's just been playing so good. I can't imagine San Jose scoring like more than 2 goals tonight. So just give you some live odds on Calgary. Puck lines for them, best I'm seeing is minus 135. It wouldn't go any steeper than minus 140 for that. And that's it. I know there's a lot here. Looking for a dog of the night. Jordan Allen's always looking for a dog of the night. I think this interesting stab on Detroit. But I would say maybe Philadelphia. I know I go against the Leafs here. That's probably not the smartest play, but maybe Philly up plus 125 now. That was plus 145 last night. It is plus 125 tonight. Flu bug going around Toronto. Philly plays hard. Maybe they squeak out a W in overtime or a shootout or something like that. Give us your goal scorers.
All right, buckle up, everybody. Vetrano, Strome, Kachuk, Giroux, Kempe, Fiala, Hughes, Toffoli, Beniers, Bjorkstrand, Pasta, Marchand, Konechny, Farabee, Matthews, Robertson, Caulfield, Anderson, Zibanejad, Kako, McKinnon, Lekin, Kucherov, Stamkos, Kachuk, Reinhart, Tage, Paterka, McDavid, Draisaitl, Kyrou, Vujnovic, Hintz, Ben, Forsberg, Glass, Crosby, Smith, Kurashev, Foligno, Zetterlund, Barabanov, Kuzmenko, Kadri, DeBrincat, Comfort, Lindholm, Besser. The 8-way Maniac parlay goes as follows: Giroux, Hughes, Matthews, Pasta, McKinnon, Reinhart, McDavid, Forsberg. The lock to score tonight is Austin Matthews. I wanted to share this real quick. Captain's night the other night in Nashville. They had Johnson, and they had Arnett and Weber and Fisher and Kimmo Timonen. And I'm pretty good buddies with Fisher, and I sent him a text. Congrats on Captain's night, man. It's got to be cool to be to be on that list. Probably nobody has said this to you yet tonight, but you look very handsome. Congrats. He said, haha, thanks, bud. No one said it yet, but I'll keep my ears open. It's being fun.
There's no way that Weber or one of those Arnett didn't call him handsome Mike Fisher that night. Everyone, yeah, for sure. Corey Underwood. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Fisher's a beauty. He's a beauty. In more ways than one. And I like you know how I feel about Shea Weber. I also like Jason Arnett too, man. Like that guy can play. Yeah.
It was really neat. Like watching the game, like they just been loaded. Kimmo Timonen was awesome. Greg Johnson was awesome. Like, dude, it was. Jason Arnett wasn't there, but it was really cool.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so in terms of props for me tonight, let's I know there's a lot of games here, so we'll try to narrow it down to maybe 5 or 7 here. So I think Ottawa, right? What we said off the top of the show, we tried to start strong here with the Ottawa Senators. We like Shane Pinto here for 3 shots, like Pinto for a point, a little bit of a stab on the power play point at plus 360. Again, though, I think the Ducks are in trouble. They give up a lot of shots. They lead the league in penalties. They give up a lot of scoring chances as well. Ottawa's playing good hockey at the moment since Pinto's returned to the lineup. They're 8-2. Hey, I don't know. He's giving them a little bit of a spark, I guess. 3 shots, point. Brady Tkachuk for the over 4.5. Josh Norris for a point. I'll get to same game parlays in a second. After that, Jack Hughes for 4 shots, right? I think Jack Hughes for a 2.9 at plus 165 is interesting the way that the Kings are playing hockey at the moment. Jack Hughes is really kind of picked up where he left off before the injury. I know he's been hurt a couple of times, but he's looked good lately. You watched him firsthand the other night, looking pretty good at the moment. Slafkovsky for a point, just riding the hot hand here, playing pretty good. Opportunities there for him. Suzuki and Caulfield are also playing really good hockey. I like Nathan McKinnon over 4.5 shots. You can get plus money for Nathan McKinnon there. The Jack Hughes is 3.5 shots. Over in Dallas, some of these point props are a little bit juiced. I do like Duchesne to pick up a point. I think the value is with Seguin to pick up a point. He's around minus 110. I like McDavid for a 2-point night. Over in Calgary, in San Jose, I got Granlund for 2 shots. I got Kuzmenko for 2 shots. And then I got Elias Lindholm for a point. So that's a lot right there. I guess I'll add Owen Tippett for 4 shots for the Philadelphia Flyers. So it's a lot there. It is a massive slate in terms of 12 games. As for same game parlays, we'll start with it's tricky with the Sens. They do mix up their lines a little bit. Their power play is a little bit different. I think if you're doing Giroux, you want to have him with Stützle just because of the 5-5 play. But I think, just at 10-1, what I said earlier is basically the entire first power play and adding Stützle to it. You can leave him off if you don't feel great, but Tkachuk and Giroux and without Shabbat, you can do Norris, Giroux, Brady, Pinto, and I would put Stützle in there. You get 10-1 for those guys. But for smaller ones, go to Vancouver, Lindholm, the last guys, Lindholm, Pettersson, Besser, and Miller. The Calgary top line with Sharangovich, Kuzmenko, and Huberdeau. The Dallas Stars, Robertson and Hintz, and then that second line with Duchesne, Marchment, and Seguin playing really good hockey. I'll stay away from LA just because they're struggling at the moment. But Hughes and Toffoli's plus money for a same game probably for those guys, and then the Florida top line with Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Yeah, Verhage, Barkov, and Reinhardt. And then I'll say on the way out, the Rangers probably pretty solid one. I like Lafreniere for a point and 3 shots, but Kreider and Mika Zibanejad, those guys, the Habs take a lot of penalties too. So maybe those guys hook up on a power play. Whew, that's a lot. 50 goal scorers. PrizePicks. US camera shut off there, but PrizePicks. Oh, I got it up here. I've been asked by a couple people to do this. Okposo scores quits. That's right. Okposo, you know what? We don't want EY to quit, that's for sure. But man, plus 510. Maybe you just bet Okposo to score in case, you win a little bit of money. You'll be sad that you leave the show, but you win a little bit of money. A couple of people asked me to wrap up the show with some PrizePicks plays. If you're included in our Discord channel, and I meant to mention this off the top. We're running an awesome promo right now, 35% off FTN bets and 35% off FTN daily using promo code FTN hoops. And with the package, you get all sports, Discord channel, projections, tools, ownership projections, all that stuff. You're looking for bets, ftnbets.com. You're looking for some DFS stuff, ftndaily.com. That's where it's at. But of course, we take care of you for DFS, but always active in the Discord with some PrizePicks plays and things. So, some people asked to recap. It's a lot of the same plays we just talked about. A lot of the same edges, like Slavkovsky's up there for a point. I think he's pretty decent at 365. We got Suzuki for 2 shots. Jack Hughes, the over 3.5 shots. I think Paterka at over 2.5 is interesting as well. You guys know that I've typically went the other way when it comes to shots for points. Lafreniere is up there for 1 point. Slavkovsky, as I mentioned, is up there for 1 point. Toffoli is up there for 1 point. I think those 3 guys. Shane Pinto's up there for 1 point. Josh Norris for 1 point. McDavid for 1.5 points. So you can have some fun. Flex play, power play with PrizePicks. They'll match your first deposit 100% if you use promo code FTN. And you can kind of cover yourself a little bit. 3 for 4, 4 for 5. The odds will come down, but you can still profit and win cash by getting 1 wrong. So if you wanted to go that way, or you just do the whole power play, put 2 on there, pays 2 to 1, and away you go. Sometimes it's better odds over at PrizePicks for you as opposed to a shot prop that's super juiced or a point prop that's super juiced as well. Any questions, hit me up, guys. Thanks for taking the time to hang out. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be back on Tuesday, which will probably be another massive slate.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Man, I got a feeling Okposo scoring tonight, buddy. We'll see what happens. Peace, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.